every nod of praise, every look of acceptance. They build a fragile fortress around your heart. Nietzsche warned of this quiet danger, the hunger for approval that slowly erodes the soul's strength. Tonight we sit in that hush, feeling the pull of wanting to be seen, to be chosen, to be loved. But every time you reach for others' applause, a piece of you slips away. In the quiet, we listen for the voice that says, "You are enough," without the applause. Because in that knowing, a stronger self is born, one that no longer begs to belong. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast and mysterious forest. This is where our journey begins, into the whispered domain of approval. It's a place made familiar by the soft echo of "well done" and gentle applause that, like a river's current, shape the land we tread upon. From our earliest memories, these sounds act as lullabies, concealing beneath their soothing melodies the chains that bind us. Just as the wind carries the scent of the earth, societal applause weaves its way through the corridors of our lives, gently guiding and, at times, confining. From childhood, applause lights our path, the gentle nods of approval becoming beacons, comforting and guiding. The "well done" for taking those first steps, the prideful display of a crude drawing on the refrigerator door, these early affirmations sow the seeds for a lifetime's quiet chains. These chains tell us that compliance will garner smiles and applause, while deviation invites uncertainty. It's a soft, pervasive message. Our value resides in meeting expectations, not in the exploration of our intrinsic self. Thus, we shape our actions and dreams to fit the comforting moulds of expectation, unwittingly binding ourselves in chains of habit that persist into adulthood. As we grow, the instinct to conform transfers into an ingrained belief that safety lies in predictability. We become actors in well-rehearsed plays, crafting narratives that conform to societal standards, choosing roles that promise comfort and acceptance. We adopt these facades not out of deceit, but as shields against isolation, believing stepping beyond the lines invites peril, akin to being cast adrift, alone in a storm. Yet, by consistently picking the path well trodden, we sacrifice authenticity for comfort, offering up our true selves for a whisper of applause. We are like trees in pots, our growth limited by the very structures we believed were there to nurture us, instead of reaching the wild, untamed freedom of true potential. These invisible manacles become tighter with each accolade received, creating a tapestry of expectations that wraps around our spirit. Praise, much like a comforting lullaby, lulls us into a serene complacency. It turns risk into an unbearable spectre, urging a retreat into familiarity. Yet these chains are deceptively gentle, felt not as shackles but as embraces, offering belonging that intoxicates, encouraging us to embrace their weight willingly. However, these invisible chains strain our spiritual wings, curtailing the freedom to dive deep into the uncharted realms of our inner landscape. The paradox is that the approval we seek to secure our identity subtly restricts our ability to transcend its confines. The soft dissolution of self occurs subtly, almost imperceptibly, as applause gradually eclipses individuality. This process transforms us from unique, vibrant beings into echoes of conformity, blurring our authenticity beneath the guise that approval is the key to navigating the complexities of social existence. The currency of applause becomes central to our self-worth, overshadowing true exploration with societal echoes. The lifelong dance with external validation becomes a silent social contract, a guide and burden, unseen yet omnipresent, nudging us towards milestones designed more for the sake of approval than the fulfillment of authentic desires. This contract weighs on our spirits, casting others' shadows over our paths. Even slight deviations from expected norms threaten the fragile security that applause once offered. Thus ensnared, every decision bears the weight of anticipated approval, rather than the lightness of self-discovered truth. Finding freedom within requires the courage to stand in contemplative silence, to heed the quiet applause that springs from within. This self-generated approval celebrates endeavours not according to external scales, but as markers of personal growth and self-discovery. In these quiet affirmations, fertile ground emerges for authentic being, where choices become personal celebrations. Resisting these chains involves embarking on an adventure into uncharted shadows, an invitation to unearth dreams and desires long buried beneath the weight of validation. This inner search beckons us toward freedom, aligning each step on an unshackled path with the harmony of inner truth, gradually untethering us from the external world's limiting embrace. Reclaiming personal sovereignty means transforming applause from chains of approval into mirrors reflecting our true self. This transformative shift elevates applause from mere societal expectation to an expression of self-appreciation, a subtle companion, not a central compass. Here, applause becomes a mirror, reflecting rather than dictating existence, inviting an understanding of self-worth that transcends external validation. As we draw this exploration to a close, imagine this as an invitation, a soft awakening to disentangle the threads of external expectation woven through life's tapestry. The journey is a gentle reminder of where true approval resides. A whispered wind under self-authored wings, guiding, not governing, our flight. With each internal dialogue sparked, begin to listen for the voice untainted by external coloration, a voice of liberation and self-discovery, echoing softly in the stillness of authentic affirmation. In the vast tapestry of human existence, conformity often weaves itself as a gentle melody, enticing souls into the embrace of society's collective refrain. This harmonious allure, promising comfort and acceptance, soothes the deep-seated fears of loneliness and exclusion that haunt the human psyche. From our earliest days, we are shown that safety is found in numbers, nurtured within institutions that cherish likeness and regard divergence with suspicion. Such places silently suggest that aligning with societal norms equates to good character, while deviation invites isolation. Yet, as Nietzsche cautions, it is this very mentality of the herd that extinguishes the fire of creativity and individuality, binding us to a monochrome life where the vibrant dance of true self-expression is hushed. The price of this conformity is high, a dulling of the unique spirit offered upon the altar of communal acceptance. Underneath the guise of belonging, individuals unknowingly trade the limitless horizon of their potential for the comfortable confines of shared norms. Approval, like a soothing balm, numbs the discomfort of standing apart, sedating the uniqueness within for the sake of merging seamlessly into collective identity. But the comfort this adherence provides is deceptive, a fleeting veil over the existential dread of standing alone. In this trade for acceptance, individuality lies dormant, and the once vivid palette of the self fades to grayscale. The tragedy, Nietzsche asserts, is not merely in conformity itself, but in the unshakable belief in its necessity. The conviction that personal worth hinges on the ability to blend in, reinforcing the chains that bind. The seductive call of the herd offers the illusion of safety, whispering promises of protection and belonging. In a world rife with uncertainties, this perceived shield against life's unpredictability eases the anxieties inherent in existence. The collective offers an unspoken assurance: align with us, and the stormy seas of life may leave you untouched. Yet this promise is a mirage, portraying conformity as a sanctuary, while it is in truth a gilded cage. Individuals trade the sovereignty of their identity for the refuge of anonymity, becoming part of a faceless mass rather than a distinct entity brimming with personal agency. Nietzsche's critical eye reveals the fragility of this comfort, a house of sand, susceptible to collapse with society's shifting sands. The sense of security within the peer crowd relies on continual conformity. Straying risks banishment back into the stark wilderness of independence. This realization often breeds a paralyzing fear of crossing established boundaries, trapping individuals in cycles of compliance. Though the herd may offer temporary respite from existential dread, it ultimately erodes true security, which stems from inner resolve and the courage to embrace one's autonomy without the crutch of collective validation. The deeply ingrained human drive to belong often demands the relinquishment of personal ideals and originality to fit a societal mould. Nietzsche saw this desire to merge with the collective as a perilous exchange, trading the authentic self for a place in the herd. The cost of this bargain is the slow erosion of individuality, as authentic expression becomes secondary to the hunger for acceptance. This self-betrayal begets a hollow imitation of life, with existence reflecting the desires of others rather than personal truths. Caught within this paradigm, individuals unknowingly partake in their own subjugation, surrendering their mind's sovereignty to the mercurial will of the collective. The perceived value of inclusion is, Nietzsche warns, a forfeiture of self-authority. This process is insidious, a steady erasure of the traits that distinguish one individual from another. The quest for belonging thus morphs into imprisonment, where drawing nearer to the herd only widens the chasm to oneself. The true price is potential left unfulfilled, dreams deferred for the comfort found in collective affirmation. Fear binds many to the herd, the dread of alienation, urging them to yield to norms that often contradict inner truths. Nietzsche noted this primal fear of isolation, a force potent enough to muzzle revolutionary impulses, transforming genius into conformity rather than exploration. This fear, traced back to ancestral times when group exclusion threatened survival, remains a powerful deterrent. Today, it translates potential non-conformists into passive participants within the herd. Yet Nietzsche suggests that alienation need not be an end, but a beginning, a summons to venture into the unexplored wilderness of self-discovery. By reframing isolation as enlightenment's gateway rather than exile, fear transforms into a catalyst for awakening, propelling courageous steps into the unknown, guided by convictions forged in solitude. Normalcy, though it appears innocuous, exerts an oppressive weight, crushing individuality out of those who dare challenge its boundaries. Nietzsche viewed the societal obsession with uniformity as a force diminishing personal creativity and diversity. The compulsion to fit the norm leads to a homogenization of thought and behaviour, stifling the rich human experience. Uniqueness is perceived as deviation rather than celebration, many conforming to avoid non-conformity's stigma. Under this pressure, the extraordinary becomes invisible, hidden beneath conformity's layers. The fear of straying from status quo confines leads to compromised truths. Yet, the repression of individuality fosters discontent, as normalcy's chains suppress unrealized potential. Nietzsche champions liberation from this bondage, advocating for nurturing inherent capabilities over merely fitting in, transcending mediocrity, and embracing the extraordinary. Imagine a life where approval masquerades as life's sustenance, like a gentle river flowing through us, offering comfort and belonging. From the smiles of approval to the nods of acceptance, we are lulled by these offerings, believing they are essential to our worth and place in the world. Yet much like a feast of empty calories, this facade of nourishment lacks the true sustenance that fuels the soul's deepest longing for growth and self-discovery. Amidst the echo of applause, the soul yearns instead for the whisper of its genuine desires. In seeking approval, we trade profound soul stirrings for a banquet of hollow affirmations. Nietzsche's wisdom unfolds a truth. By surrendering to this need, we dull the vibrant hues of our creative spirit. Our innate drive to transcend and recreate ourselves dims, imprisoned by standards that maintain a comfortable status quo, rather than an expansive evolution. It's akin to sowing fertile seeds in barren lands, hoping for a flourishing yield that never arrives. This will to approval sustains a cycle of complacency, where life ceases to be lived for our own evolution, supplanted by the mere shadows of external recognition. Yet there stands Nietzsche, illuminating the path to authenticity with the will to power, that primal urge within us to assert and express, without the encumbrance of outside validation. Here, life transforms into a creative voyage, a canvas where each soul paints its unique journey. The will to power transcends the hollow echoes of commendation, urging us beyond the herd's accolades into realms alive with personal authenticity and daring adventure. To truly express life, one must venture with self-honesty and courage, pursuing paths that lead away from the herd's norms. The will to power makes life a daring experiment, not bound by conformity, but guided by self-defined values. Rejection then becomes a portal to discovering one's self-worth, not a barrier. In embracing the creative impulse, we dance along the edges of societal acceptance, inviting the swirling chaos of true self-awakening. Here, societal norms, protective in their desire for predictability, are challenged. For it is within this uncertainty that seeds of innovation and true self-discovery grow. Chasing approval exacts a significant toll on the psyche, depleting energy meant for genuine self-expression. We fragment ourselves to fit into predefined moulds, drifting farther from our authentic goals and passions. This unrelenting pursuit for approval fragments our identities, resulting in anxiety and a sense of inadequacy as the cycle of seeking approval perpetuates an eerie dissatisfaction. Compromise lies veiled in the heart of this exchange, in trimming away the raw, unrefined edges of our being to win acceptance. We bury unspoken truths and unperformed capabilities beneath a veil of acceptability, sacrificing authenticity on the altar of societal norms. Over time, this vigilance cultivates a profound sense of loss, as the true self yearns for breath beneath layers of conditioned behaviour. To shift from the will to approval to the will to power, one must nourish an inner witness, an observer within that silently acknowledges our creativity and courage. This witness guides us to honour our essence beyond transient approval. Cultivating this quiet observer involves reflection and self-inquiry. allowing us to trust instincts and validate experiences from within. As the inner witness grows, so too does our resilience, empowering us to face life with integrity, led by the compass of self-knowledge. Reclaiming personal sovereignty requires stepping away from the crowd, asserting our right to self-determine, and crafting paths that honour our deepest values. Nietzsche's Übermensch embodies this self-assertion, transcending moral confines to form a new destiny. This act of reclaiming sovereignty prioritises inner harmony over the applause of the exterior, engaging in self-awareness and intentional living to disentangle ourselves from societal dictates. Solitude, often mistaken for void, becomes a sacred space for strength, where the inner voice weaves amid silence's tapestry. Here we connect with our true nature, a wellspring of creativity, unfettered by approval's thirst. Nietzsche's solitude becomes a crucible, where the will to power strengthens away from herd influence, transforming loneliness into self-companionship and leading us through life's complexities with clarity. The journey from approval-seeking to power-wielding is a graceful dance of resistance and surrender. Resistance arises when fear of losing approval compels us, but true growth blooms by resisting conformity's snug fabric, dismantling barriers that bind authenticity. Yet surrender, not as passivity, but as conscious detachment from external affirmation, is key. Herein lies trust in our journey, allowing our essence to direct us toward unfolding narratives. Vulnerability, perceived as weakness, instead offers strength's profound realm. In embracing our imperfections, we open ourselves to life's uncertainties, realizing true connection thrives not in illusions of perfection, but within genuine expressions. Vulnerability allows for human bonding grounded not in pretense but shared experience. As embraced, it speaks to the will to power, embodying fearless commitment to personal integrity. Crafting a life beyond the need for approval becomes a testament to authentic expression, anchored in the will to power. It transcends applause, aligning with one's values and passions. This journey, woven with courage and resilience, stands as an example of self-realization's enduring legacy, inspiring others not through approval, but by living genuinely and unapologetically. In the quiet theatre of human desire, we sculpt masks of acceptability, casting ourselves in roles that charm and captivate the world. Each mask, a diligent worker, an agreeable friend, a polished speaker, is a masterpiece, born from a yearning to be cherished and embraced. The world watches, and in response we chip away at our raw authenticity, carving ourselves into shapes that fit within the finely drawn lines of social expectation. Yet, as a sculptor discards marble to unveil form, so we shed fragments of our true selves, trading shards of our identity for the reassuring glow of acceptance. These masks, crafted with care, fortify us against the pangs of rejection, even as they slowly excavate the essence of our soul. Societal norms weave around us like tender vines, promising shelter, yet binding us ever closer to convention. In our compliance, we sign a silent contract, ceding our wild, instinctual edges for a sense of belonging that is both comforting and confining. The personas we forge become proficient navigators of society's prescribed boundaries, but the cost is steep. They constrict our very spirits, cloaking spontaneity and joy in a veil of predictability. This safety is an illusion, for it veils the daring risks necessary for true growth and fulfillment. Our genuine selves lie stranded, buried beneath these layers of external influence and internally imposed limitations. Our masks meant to protect can become silent prisons, entrapping the vibrant, multi-layered self that slumbers beneath. The act of donning these facades demands constant performance, siphoning emotional energy as we suppress traits that clash with the projected image. Estrangement from self breeds a subtle dissatisfaction that whispers in the shadows of our experiences, tainting them with a muted sense of inauthenticity. Over time, the boundaries blur between who we pretend to be and who we truly are, until both merge into a singular, indistinct silhouette. This masquerade ripples through our relationships and interactions, layering superficiality where depth could flourish. Fearing exposure, or possibly deeper rejection, we settle for hollow exchanges, overshadowed by the weight of concealed thoughts and unsaid words. In masking our vulnerabilities, we miss the sacred opportunity for connection through shared humanity. This self-imposed solitude deepens into loneliness and eventually the despair of isolation. As authenticity erodes under the steady tide of conforming to external expectations, the true self fades from view, a gradual silent slipping away, rather than a storm. Ignoring our internal compass dulls our creativity, diminishing our engagement with the world. This erosion pits us in conflict, a shadow dance between who we present and who we are, sparking anxiety and a quest for external diversions. Yet these are temporary, masking the unmended fracture beneath. To shed these masks, to stand vulnerable and raw, demands a bold courage. Yet within such vulnerability lies profound freedom. Acceptance of our imperfections opens pathways to genuine connections that embrace truth over illusion. As we lay bare our true selves, we invite others to do the same, rippling authenticity that challenges the world's superficial norms, fostering an understanding as deep and vast as the ocean. Through open vulnerability, we align more closely with our true desires and values, nurturing self-awareness and growth. Our lives, guided by internal truth instead of external approval, shimmer with intentionality and passion. The freedom found here liberates us from the chains of conformity, igniting a transformative journey towards self-discovery and wholeness. This path of unmasking and integration is a meticulous unravelling, one of patience and intentionality, inviting us to unite the scattered pieces of ourselves. Through self-inquiry, we examine the narratives that built our masks, bravely facing fears and insecurities to reclaim what lies beneath. This courageous act of self-examination draws us closer to wholeness, a harmonious existence where strengths and weaknesses, joys and fears, coalesce into a peace that vibrates deep within our core. As we rewrite our narratives, self-approval replaces external validation, with stories of courage and truth guiding our way. Through self-compassion and acceptance, resilience blooms, grounding us in an intrinsic worth untouched by external change. With each step forward, bold in redefinition and truth, we tread new paths that echo our authentic selves, artful architects of destiny, living stories woven with courage, truth, and the full spectrum of being. In a world of masquerades, living authentically stands as a quiet rebellion, a gentle return to our own essence. Within this authentic presence lies an invitation, opening doors to deeper, more genuine connections, crafted not on performance but upon the rich soil of shared humanity. Our unique contributions enrich the human tapestry, even as we practice discernment, navigating when to reveal the depths of who we are. True authenticity is an ongoing dance, balancing openness with protection, inviting depth while respecting self-integrity. Liberated through creativity, we reclaim authenticity, fueling an alchemical journey of self-realization and transformation. As we express freely through art, music, or movement, we step beyond our masks, embracing spontaneity and unleashing the soul's stories. This courageous expression allows us to reconnect deeply, discovering the boundless potential within and the vibrant grace of authenticity. Cultivating a peaceful sanctuary within, we find moments to recharge and reflect, free from external demands. Practices like meditation anchor us in this space, fostering clarity and grounding. Here, we nurture an inner relationship that guides us through life's challenges with compassion and kindness. As we embrace our authentic selves, a tapestry of wholeness emerges, a dynamic integration honouring the diverse threads of our identity. This journey invites us to live purposefully, stepping into our potential with courage and conviction, inspiring others to embark on their paths to authenticity and integration. Through this journey, we find that true freedom is the bold becoming of who we are, celebrating uniqueness and shared humanity in all its glorious complexity. In the quiet recesses of the soul, there lies a gentle erosion of fading authenticity born from seeking praise and acknowledgement from the outside world. This quest for external validation subtly yet steadily wears down the inner essence, like a stream slowly carving its path through stone. In our formative years, societal expectations teach us to measure ourselves against others, valuing external accolades above the sincerity that resides within. There is an inherent dissonance between our ideal selves and actual behaviour, a tension that Carl Rogers speaks of, which seeds a turmoil deep within. Nietzsche's voice echoes through these silent corridors, urging us towards self-creation and away from conformist chains. Each time we censor our truth for a nod of approval, we barter away fragments of our individual essence. These moments of compromise, seemingly small, accumulate into what we come to recognise as a silent suicide, a gradual hollowing masked by the applause we strive to hear. Beneath the layers of existence, a war rages, a conflict within ourselves as we stand at the crossroads of authenticity and acceptance. These are identities crafted out of necessity, fragments born of the desire for approval that clash within a single being. Freud's vision of the superego suppressing the id mirrors this internal discord, where societal norms quash our instincts, creating a fractured self. In this perpetual struggle, we encounter Jung's shadows, those disowned parts of ourselves projected onto the world, further entangling us in a web of psychological conflict. No longer can we distinguish what is genuinely desired from what the world demands, deepening the wound of living for others. And so with each endeavour to secure approval, we find ourselves negotiating our self-worth, principles, and dreams. People-pleasing becomes more than a habit. It evolves into a survival mechanism, especially within familial and professional spheres. Viktor Frankl's existential analysis warns us that meaning dictated from without, rather than discovered within, impoverishes the soul. Shame and guilt often accompany these compromises, resonating with Nietzsche's caution against trading integrity for transient approval. They serve as barriers to self-esteem, shackling our ability to establish the boundaries that nurture and protect who we truly are. Perfectionism stands as a deceiving ally, offering an illusory sense of control. Its pursuit, clad in anxiety, becomes a relentless quest to appear flawless, feeding off the fear of judgment. As Brené Brown observes, this perfectionist ambition transforms potential creativity into constraint, hiding vulnerability behind a veneer of invulnerability. Society's insistence on perfection traps us in a cycle of incessant striving, where each step forward is met with inner paralysis, burying the voice that yearns to be heard beneath the layers of oppressive standards. This unyielding desire for approval manifests in the mind's shadows, anxieties, depressions, and burnouts fueled by unmet expectations. The applause that never comes sends us spiraling into doubt, amplifying a sense of inadequacy. Pitfalls emerge from living for external validation rather than from our own authentic truths, escalating stress and destabilizing the emotions tethered to our essence. Social identity theory paints this comparison with society's ideals as a not enough narrative, obstructing our emotional resilience and challenging our ability to withstand life's flares independently. Detached from our authentic selves, we experience a profound alienation, echoing Karl Marx's vision, where individual alienation strips people away from their core. Lost in the attempts to align with external markers of worth, we become strangers within our own skins. Yet there lies hope in Jung's concept of individuation, a reconciling journey back to wholeness and self-awareness. It is through releasing the need for validation that we embark upon a transformative voyage toward inner unity, mending disconnections with our truths. Yet in relying on external accomplishments for worth, we flirt with an existential emptiness. In the shadow of post-achievement hollowness, even the grandest milestones seem barren if they reflect others' expectations instead of our own. Nietzsche warns of confusing activity with meaningful accomplishment, a din of success overwhelming the whispers of the soul's desires. Trapped within a Sisyphus-like struggle for approval, we forget Frankl's emphasis on finding meaning from within, offering us a way to navigate beyond transient pursuits to find genuine fulfillment. To reclaim the self from the clutches of approval, we seek refuge in mindfulness, journaling, and introspection. Rituals encouraging an internal harmony that transcends external opinions. Solitude becomes a sacred space to shed the layers of expectation, fostering a rediscovery of inner truth. Through Nietzschean philosophy, we learn the art of liberating non-attachment, reframing rejection as opportunity, and encouraging the emergence of authenticity undisturbed by the external gaze. Thus, we begin a quiet rebirth of integrity, where actions and beliefs align once again with core values. In this rebirth of self-reflection, the sanctity of boundaries is rediscovered, protecting the integrity of being untarnished by the need for external approval. Embracing imperfections becomes a journey of dynamic authenticity, as Rogers and Jung suggest, a process infused with self-forgiveness and acceptance, heralding self-growth and a deeper sense of wholeness. Nurturing the emergent self is a tender journey, a dance shaped not by others' expectations, but by intrinsic dreams and aspirations. This is a continuous process of fostering self-worth, emotional resilience, and purpose. A journey where the whispers of Nietzsche's Übermensch invite us to transcend societal demands and create anew from authenticity and creative power. Embrace the unfolding path of self-discovery, echoing the silent suicide of the past with courage, stepping into the unknown where self-validation shapes a legacy of genuine fulfillment and enlightenment. In the hushed corners of our consciousness, where dreams dissolve into reflections, we find ourselves ensnared in an eternal pursuit of approval. Like moths to a flame, we flutter towards the warmth of validation, our hearts whispering questions of worthiness at every turn. This need becomes a force of nature, an invisible hand that gently guides our thoughts, cradling them in the tender embrace of others' expectations. Within this dance, we gaze into the mirror of judgment, where our likeness is defined not by authenticity, but by the mercurial gaze of approval. This living tableau fractures our focus, scattering our attention across a storm of external demands. We become actors in an endless play, our scripts written by others, and our performances tailored to evoke nods of approval. Yet with every scene, an unseen toll is exacted. Our identity, once whole, becomes a series of shards, disjointed and scattered. In the quiet moments when the applause fades, we glimpse the fragments left behind, each a piece of a self, once vibrant but now dulled by the relentless pursuit of others' acceptance. Yet the applause ever so treasured rests upon shifting sands. Like a gentle breeze it comes and goes, fickle and unsteady. Anchoring our sense of self in this ephemeral affirmation leaves us vulnerable to the shifting storms of opinion. As society's whims change, we too strive to adapt, remoulding ourselves to fit the latest mould of desirability. In this fevered chase, authenticity slips through our fingers, like water from a tightly clenched hand. In moments of quiet, a realization dawns. Mirrors, though reflective, weave illusions. To break free is to shatter the brittle glass that distorts our view. It requires courage to step back, to see beyond the reflections and recognize the transient nature of external validation. This act of breaking the mirror is not an end but a beginning. Beyond the shards lies a vast, uncharted territory within ourselves, a place where inner truths shimmer in the absence of outside light. As clarity emerges, we step into the space left by shattered illusions, feeling the depth of our truest being unfurling. The facade fades, replaced by a profound connection to self, a beacon of authenticity glowing with its own luminosity. In this clearing where judgment is cast aside, personal values rise to prominence, reshaping our world from the inside out. Though the transition brings uncertainty, in yielding to this inner landscape, we start anew, discovering a voice clear and unburdened by the weight of judgment. Yet as we journey further inward, the persistent whispers of inadequacy emerge. The quest for approval often fashions an ever-present shadow of insufficiency, a tether that binds us to a cycle of self-doubt. This bind stifles our growth, constraining our expression as we fear being cast adrift in the abyss of unworthiness. The key lies in shifting our gaze, turning it inward, where the light of true value resides, independent of outside perceptions. Through the act of reflection, we begin to discern our authentic selves amidst the chaos. Practices like mindfulness, gentle meditation, or the quiet scribbles in a personal journal guide us inward, unravelling the dense tapestry of imposed identities. Here within these sacred spaces, we nurture self-awareness, peering tenderly at the complex weave of who we are. Each thread, unique and cherished, forms the tapestry of our being. Resilient, whole, unapologetically sincere. In releasing the crutch of external validation, an authentic connection with the self is born. As bravery takes root, we reveal the vulnerable beauty of our true selves, standing firm in our own truth. No longer do we mask our identity in societal disguise. Real connections, forged in sincerity, replace transactional interactions. Vulnerability becomes strength, a catalyst inviting others to embrace their truth beside us. Each genuine moment enriches our journey, propelling us toward a life adorned with heartfelt connections. Self-awareness becomes our guiding star through this labyrinth of authenticity. In recognizing the patterns shaped by the need for approval, we learn to challenge the automatic responses that cloud our actions. This deepening awareness invites questions, coaxing answers from the silent heart of ourselves. The shadows and light of our inner worlds unite, steering us toward a cohesive wholeness that departs from judgment's cruel gaze. Through acceptance, liberation from judgment's tyranny is found. To accept is to embrace every facet of ourselves without the need to shape reality to others' standards. As we let go of judgment, the narrative of our lives transforms. It is rewritten by our own hand, guided by personal truth and aspirations. This freeing act of self-authorship allows us to chart a course with purpose, bending neither for approval nor disapproval, but ever true to our inner compass. In solitude, a sanctuary blossoms, untouched by the whispers of others, granting a profound sense of serenity and completeness. Within this space, self-reflection blooms, offering a canvas for genuine desire and truth. It is here that independence thrives, away from the cacophony of validation. Solitude, far from loneliness, becomes a fertile field for exploration and growth, nurturing the resilient core of who we are, a place where ultimate freedom dwells, not in the absence of others, but in the unwavering presence of the self. In a world where recognition often feels like the pulse of our existence, to stand in solitude seems like a paradox. From the moment we take our first steps, there is a subtle current guiding us toward visibility, equating it with value. Yet, beneath the noise of applause and the weight of expectation, lies a quiet realm, fertile for self-discovery. This solitude, initially perceived as loneliness, begins to reveal its true nature as the external clamour fades, uncovering an inner voice, untouched and pure. Embracing solitude demands a radical shift, a gentle move away from the dread of silence. We often conflate silence with isolation, a barren landscape devoid of life. Yet solitude, chosen consciously, crafts a sanctuary away from the incessant hunger for validation. Here, personas meticulously constructed for external approval begin to dissolve, revealing untempered authenticity. As the layers fall away, the richness of our company fosters creativity and innovation. Friedrich Nietzsche, known for his solitary wanderings, perceived isolation as a reservoir of strength and creativity. He defied the common path of seeking external approval, choosing instead the formidable journey of embracing solitude. To Nietzsche, true greatness was born of this detachment, a strength nourished by stepping away from the herd's gravitational pull. It is in these quiet moments that individuals unlock authentic self-expression, finding the courage to stand alone, independent of collective norms. Nietzsche's insights illuminate solitude as a wellspring, guiding those adrift in self-discovery, transforming isolation into a refracted lens that sharpens inner truth. Stepping away from the familiar glow of acceptance and into shadowed uncertainty evokes fear, casting us into the unknown's embrace. This darkness, rather than a void, becomes a canvas for self-creation. Free from the binds of validation, the depths of our consciousness invite exploration and acceptance. Embracing this darkness nurtures empowerment, challenging narratives that offer the illusion of security through societal approval. It is a rite of revelation, one that uncloaks fears and vulnerabilities as harbingers of growth. Amidst the absence of external acknowledgement, a self-creative spark ignites, a flicker of untapped potential waiting to be kindled. As our focus shifts from seeking outward praise to nourishing our inner flame, paths align with authentic desires and passions. In solitude's shadow, we find the strength to challenge societal scripts, paving new avenues of self-authorship. Here, within the liberated space of creation, lies the courage to vocalize the unique symphony of the self, a spark that, once nurtured, lights the way to self-actualization. Standing unseen throws open the gates to a realm of authentic might, a quiet power drawn not from dominance or control, but from self-awareness and personal sovereignty. Unshackled from the treadmill of approval, clarity and strength, to self-define emerge. This authentic might, born from self-compassion, resonates as a quiet storm, a resolve steadfastly true to oneself. It urges a letting go of external crutches, embracing inherent strength that, through acceptance and resilience, navigates life's complexities genuinely. Beyond the binary barriers of good and evil, Nietzsche invites us to dwell in the nuanced spectrum of existence. This transcendence liberates us from superficial judgments, inviting an engagement with life in its full complexity. By standing outside the realm of approval, we perceive life not through rigid, dualistic lenses, but embrace the interconnectedness and richness of the human experience. This broader awareness frees us to explore the myriad hues of our being. In a society where acquiescence seems synonymous with approval, the strength to say no becomes an act of quiet rebellion. To stand in solitude is to reclaim the freedom to establish boundaries, protecting our energy and prioritizing pursuits that nurture our highest self. Saying no asserts self-respect and declares our worth is unconditional. Through honoring these boundaries, a path towards self-growth and preservation unfolds, casting off external pressures and embracing self-defined objectives. Through this powerful act of refusal, a life aligned with personal values is crafted. As we leave behind the comfort of external validation, we step into a void brimming with uncertainty, a landscape where inner guidance charts the course. This uncertainty is not barren, it is fertile ground for creativity and discovery. Each step traces the unravelling of our dependence on external praise, leading to a deeper understanding of the self. In the vastness of the void, resilience takes root, teaching us trust and adaptability. By listening to our intuition and harmonizing choices with core beliefs, we thrive independently and authentically. This journey of solitude inspires the crafting of a new narrative, one where the protagonist writes their own story, unburdened by societal plots. Here, individuality reigns, and themes of self-discovery and transformation take centre stage. Writing this narrative liberates us from fear, filling it instead with honesty and courage. Through self-authorship, we lay the groundwork for a life uniquely ours, a celebration of the courage to stand unseen and embrace the path of becoming. This sacred journey to wholeness is a retreat not from the world, but toward our innermost essence. It is a lifelong endeavour of reflection and growth, where inherent worth, beyond external validation, is honoured. Through this path, fragmented parts find reconciliation and completeness. As we journey, approvals pull lessons, replaced by profound self-acceptance, understanding that true wholeness emanates not from perception but from realising our interconnectedness with the world and ourselves. In the soft glow of life's twilight, rejection stands as a shadowed figure, familiar yet daunting. It weaves itself into the human tapestry, an inevitable presence that echoes through our journey. It arrives as a whisper of denial from the world outside, a friend, a lover, a moment slipping through our fingers, and can carve a scar of inadequacy and pain within us. Cultural whispers have long cast rejection as an adversary, a harsh sentinel barring the path to ambition and self-expression. Yet if we gently peel away the layers of fear, we find transformative potential nestled within its sharp embrace. Rejection, when approached with tender mindfulness, begins to unfurl as a beacon, guiding us toward the avenues that resonate more truthfully with our essence. The initial sting of disapproval tugs at our belief in external validations as markers of our worth. It beckons us to converse with our fears, to pause and reassess, nurturing resilience where doubt once crept. When we tend tenderly to the emotional bruises inflicted by rejection, we allow compassion to seep into our understanding, inviting these experiences not as deterrents, but as catalysts for personal evolution. The soil of rejection nurtures the seeds of our deepest desires, which were once choked by the yearning for approval. At the heart of our dance with rejection lies the vigilant ego, ever watchful in its endless quest for recognition and acceptance. The ego, a masterful architect of facades, perceives rejection as a threat, a crack in its carefully constructed identity. It feeds on the illusion of acceptance, cloaking vulnerability with a semblance of strength. When rejection pierces this veil, the ego rises defensively, distorting our perception, amplifying unworthiness. This defensive reaction roots our self-worth in the shifting sands of external approval, anchoring us in stagnation. To transcend this grip, we must tenderly shift our gaze inward, unravelling the layers of constructed illusions to reach the authenticity within. Embracing rejection dismantles these veils, exposing the raw contours of our true desires and aspirations. Here within the nuanced light of introspection, we honour the intrinsic worth that resides independent of external validations, awakening to the dynamism of our being, free from societal judgments. Rejection invites us to an alchemical journey, transforming the base metals of fear and pain into the gold of wisdom and resilience. When we resist the instinct to flee discomfort, we engage in a sacred dance of transmutation, a process where the crucible of emotional pain reveals the essence of our identity. The layers that shield our soul are peeled back, leaving a vulnerable yet vital core exposed. This exposure, while unsettling, is vital in distilling the truth of who we are. Pain, then, is no longer an adversary, but a harbinger of liberation. It nudges us toward uncharted territories within, compelling us to confront and embrace the shadows we carry. Sitting with rejection, we allow its discomfort to illuminate our path toward wholeness. In this dance, the ego recalibrates while the authentic self, once shackled, draws forth its creative power anew. As we navigate this landscape, emotional courage becomes our steadfast companion, the audacious heart that remains open in vulnerability. Rejection tests this courage, challenging us to engage with self-awareness and embrace discomfort with grace. It might first appear as an adversary, casting doubt upon our sense of self-worth. Yet beneath its stark visage lies an invitation for introspection, an exploration of the intricate emotional terrain we traverse. By embracing emotional courage, we redefine rejection, transforming it from a source of shame to a testament of resilience. We learn to perceive rejection not as a mark of failure, but as a stepping stone to self-realization, a detour that enriches our journey with perspectives and insights. Through embracing rejection, we touch the subtle liberation that arises from acceptance, an acceptance of our human limitations and the impermanence of external validation. This acceptance gently liberates us from the relentless pursuit of approval, granting us the freedom to engage with life authentically, recognizing the multifaceted nature of our experience. We carve our identity through adversity, gaining a sense of agency. Rejection ceases to be a verdict of inadequacy, becoming instead a testament to our courage in pursuing the truth. Through this lens, rejection catalyzes the empowerment of our authentic self, unshackling our worth from conditional acceptance. Shedding societal conditioning, we uncover inner strength and clarity. Rejection prompts us to question old narratives, rekindling the voice of intuition guiding us on our true path. Freed from approval's constraints, we venture into unexplored realms of potential, fostering authentic connections. Vulnerability, the dance of life, invites us to explore its uncertainties without pretension. Embracing vulnerability within rejection dissolves defenses, inviting grace and profound connection, transcending barriers, turning perceived failures into opportunities for healing. Ultimately, rejection becomes a profound catalyst, urging transformation. It invites us to realign aspirations and personal evolution. As we embrace its transformative energy, we become adept alchemists, transmuting adversity into fertile ground where the authentic self flourishes. In the hushed solitude of introspection, an inner voice begins to stir, a nascent guide whispering in a language known to the depths of the soul. This voice, gentle yet firm, challenges the countless echoes of the world's expectations, urging us to peel away the conditioned layers and to uncover the core of our authentic selves. It is a clarion call, announcing the awakening of inner judgment, a shift from seeking approval to discovering one's personal truth. This is the overman within, quietly dismantling the bonds of societal praise, redirecting the focus inward to redefine success and worth on one's own terms. As this voice gains clarity, the cacophony of external validation fades into the background. The steady rhythm of inner exploration takes its place, unraveling a richer understanding of desires, motivations, and goals. The journey is unsettling, for it commands bravery. Each step requires a questioning of long-held beliefs, a revision of past decisions. Yet with every stride forward, the once dim path brightens, guided by the light of self-authored values. Here a transition unfolds, from living by others' dictates to crafting a narrative uniquely our own, steeped in profound richness. Success, a construct often defined by worldly standards, transforms into an act of rebellion and self-love. True accomplishment transcends tangible outcomes and accolades. It delves into the heart of what genuinely fulfills the spirit. As we construct our own definitions, the clamour of hollow accolades falls silent, replaced by the enduring echoes of self-approval and a purpose. This inward gaze births an ethos of personal resilience, as self-worth becomes detached from external acknowledgements, resonating instead with the deeper question: who am I without the applause? In this introspective inquiry, we fortify ourselves with a resilience that shields us from fleeting judgments, fostering a life rich with integrity and depth. In the quiet crucible of solitude, where external judgments fade, a transformation occurs. Silence nurtures self-dialogue, where authenticity unfurls without fear. Solitude becomes a sanctuary for gestating creativity and inner strength, allowing the seeds of self-driven projects to sprout. In this space, ideas blossom and personal growth takes root, gently fostering an unshakable confidence in our identity. The process of constructing an inner value system mirrors the formation of a guiding compass, a painstakingly curated personal ethos that directs us towards self-empowerment and self-imposed discipline. This journey requires examining experiences and beliefs, discarding inherited values that no longer serve the authentic self. The moral compass that emerges is one that aligns actions with core values rather than societal expectations, steering each decision with deliberate intention. The path of inner judgment, however, is incomplete without self-compassion, a nurturing balm against the thorns of self-examination. As we embrace our imperfections, recognizing them as a shared human experience, we free ourselves from the burdens of perfectionism. Self-compassion soothes, nurturing resilience and determination, allowing us to rise from setbacks with renewed courage and faith in our progress. Balancing assertiveness with humility becomes paramount as we speak our truths and protect our values in interactions with others. Assertiveness, rooted in self-awareness, empowers us to establish boundaries that ward off external pressures. Yet, assertiveness complemented by humility enriches our understanding, inviting growth and empathy. This dance creates a dynamic interplay between inner strength and receptivity, constructing a robust foundation for self-evolution and mutual respect. Releasing the need for comparison liberates us from envy's grasp. Comparison, an echo of external judgment, steals joy and undermines personal growth. As we honour the singularity of our journey, free from the weight of societal metrics, we foster patience and gratitude. This shift towards self-reflection nourishes genuine connections and cultivates compassion, both for ourselves and others. Embracing vulnerability transforms into a courageous act, an acknowledgement of the full spectrum of our humanity. It invites us to confront fears and uncertainties, to dismantle barriers, and embrace authenticity. In this vulnerable space, protected facades crumble, creating openings for transformative growth and genuine connection. Vulnerability nurtures resilience, fostering a life interwoven with humility and grace. The journey toward creative authenticity unveils itself as the culmination of self-overcoming through inner judgment. It is an evolving masterpiece, crafted by conscious choices that reflect our inner truth. Creative authenticity thrives on experimentation, guiding us beyond safe confines. It infuses existence with innovation and creativity, allowing life to mirror a vibrant tapestry of complexity and simplicity. By aligning with our authentic selves, we invite others to same, crafting a life of intention, purpose, and fulfillment, one that transcends the fleeting allure of external approval. As we embark on this journey, we embrace a path adorned with insight, growth, and the vibrant weave of self-realization. In the stillness of solitude, away from the clamouring demands of the world, lies the fertile soil for profound self-discovery. Solitude, often mistaken for loneliness, becomes a sanctuary where true self-awareness takes root. Here, in the quiet spaces between thoughts, the authentic self begins to unfurl its petals, freed from the constraints of societal personas. Within this sacred silence, we learn to hold space for ourselves, a gentle caress of acceptance that allows our thoughts and emotions to flow without judgment. In this intimate dance with our inner world, we become both the observer and the observed, watching the delicate play of our inner tides. As we delve deeper into this practice, solitude ceases to be merely a state of being. It becomes a chosen ritual, a sacred return to the self. This nurturing self-engagement fosters a relationship with our core, built on empathy and understanding. It teaches us that the act of witnessing us does not sever our bonds with others, but deepens the connection with our own essence. We begin to disentangle the threads of approval and dependency, weaving instead a tapestry of self-knowledge that forms the base for a rich, whole life. From the sanctuary of solitude arises the courage to claim ourselves as the ultimate authority in our life story, shifting the anchor of validation from the external to the internal. The allure of applause and praise, while comforting, is transient, subject to the fickle nature of the world outside us. But here in the heart of solitude, we build a fortress of self-validation, an unshakable presence that stands resilient amid life's tempests. This journey demands honesty and vulnerability, a readiness to embrace all facets of ourselves, unvarnished and true. Embracing this self-derived power emboldens us to sift through the noise of external voices, discerning which resonate with our own emerging narrative. With this newfound sense of inner authority, the story we tell about ourselves evolves, not sculpted by others' perceptions, but drawn from the depths of our own truth. We must reclaim our personal narrative, casting off the roles scripted by family, friends and society, and rewrite it with pen strokes that echo our genuine aspirations and desires. This act of narrative reconstruction requires bravery, a willingness to redefine success and reshape failures through the lens of our values. It is a continual act of courage and innovation, releasing the past and opening up a limitless future led by our authentic impulses. Through this reimagining, we align actions with core beliefs, living with intention and purpose, undeterred by antiquated expectations. Embracing the dance of acceptance and change becomes an intrinsic part of witnessing oneself. Acceptance nurtures a peaceful recognition of our imperfections, teaching us that every version of us is whole and complete, even as we continue to evolve. This state of acceptance creates a fertile ground for change, where growth stems not from dissatisfaction, but from an understanding of our potential for transformation. Change, the gentle catalyst of progress, is not born from criticism but from a curiosity about what lies beyond our current horizon. The dance of these two forces, acceptance and change, invites us to engage in an unending exploration of self, a journey that is fluid, resilient and infinitely revealing. Embracing a mindful presence becomes essential on this path. Mindfulness invites us to inhabit each moment fully, observing the continuous stream of thoughts and emotions with tender curiosity. This practice pulls us into the present, liberating us from echoes of the past and dreams of the future. As we become more attuned to life as it unfolds, we foster a quiet clarity, an appreciation for every rise and fall of the inner and outer worlds. Through mindfulness, we cultivate a deeper engagement with life, one that encourages thoughtful responses over impulsive reactions, enhancing our connection with our inner being. Letting go becomes an art, a delicate release of past identities and external expectations. This act of liberation frees us to embrace life's inherent uncertainties, trusting in the natural flow of existence. Letting go is not an act of indifference, but leaves space for forgiveness and understanding, laying down the heavy burdens of resentment and guilt. It nurtures a fertile environment for growth, where our potential can flourish. In embracing impermanence, we cultivate resilience, equipping ourselves to navigate life's serpentines with a graceful heart. Integral to self-witnessing, is confronting and embracing the shadow within, a journey into the depths of the unconscious where repressed elements lie. By welcoming the shadow with compassion, we unify these parts with our core, fostering a sense of authenticity that values and recognizes every aspect of our being. This embrace unearths deeper layers of understanding, allowing for greater self-awareness and acceptance. Emotional resilience forms the bedrock of this journey, allowing us to wade through life's trials with strength and grace. By understanding our emotional landscape, we become adept at navigating storms, emerging stronger and more connected to ourselves. Rituals serve as anchors, grounding us in our commitment to authenticity and self-awareness. These sacred practices invite pause, celebrating our intrinsic worth and unique journey. This chapter unfolds in a continuous journey, a dynamic dance of discovering and becoming who we truly are. Living as our own witness is not a fixed destination, but a perpetual voyage of growth. Each step taken reaffirms our commitment to authenticity, living as a sacred testament to the power of self-awareness and transformation. As you carry this luminous torch of self-witnessing into each dawn, may your life become the ultimate affirmation, a testament of your infinite journey of self-discovery and authentic being. If this resonates with your journey, we invite you to like and subscribe to join us in exploring these sacred paths together.